Thank you for tuning in to Spiritual Debriefing, a podcast about Christians living a Christian life in a very unchristian world. Tonight, we talk about God's plan as we remember Hillary Harris, a child of God, a daughter, and a friend.
Welcome to Spiritual Debriefing. I am Daniel Meadows.
And I am Randy Bryson.
What's up, Randy?
How's it going?
Oh, it's going.
And I'm Jed.
Hello.
Hey,
Hey,
Jed.
Jed.
Hey, guys.
I was afraid we were going to use last names because I was like, okay, let's see if Jed uses his last name.
Unknown.
Right. And I'm Derek.
What up,
Hey,
Derek?
Derek.
Hi.
What's up,
And then
sweetheart?
you got Ray over here as well.
What's
And,
up, Ray?
Ray.
Yay!
Oh, okay.
I'm better. I had some food, so I'm feeling better. I won't be angry.
Good.
So, before we get started, though, for all you listening out there, please give us a like. Hit that little subscribe button. Hit the little bell. You get notified when we post our podcasts every other Thursday. You can find us on YouTube, Rumble, and all major podcast sites. And with that, share this. Share this out there with some other people. We're getting more and more listeners all the time, more and more subscribers all the time, and just want to keep sharing the word, sharing God's love.
Let's get
Amen.
ready to rumble.
Yeah.
I had the same thought.
The difference
Are you
is
sure?
it just come on out.
Are you guys ready?
Yeah.
As ready as I can get, buddy.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Me too.
Sounds like it.
So-
Yeah, let me fill this up real quick, guys.
Yeah, fill up your water, Derek, as we sit here and look at you awkwardly.
Right. Yeah, let me fill this
We're
up.
just going to stare at you.
All right, good.
Yeah.
I like it.
Good.
You could be a water model.
Yeah. Yeah.
Some high-quality H2O.
I do like good water. I really do.
Video coming soon.
Right. I mean, there's nothing that beats hose water on a hot summer day. I don't know what it is.
It's good.
It's good.
It's good.
I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
Yep. You just got to remember not to, the kids nowadays, if they ever try to get into it, they don't know that you can't stick your face into it right away.
Right.
Because you're going to burn your face off if you do.
Or apparently chew on it, too. I don't know.
The smart ones are always the last ones.
Yep.
Yes.
Exactly. Because then it's ice cold by then.
I'm
That's the
surprised
good
there's not
stuff.
a warning label on the hose.
Probably will be soon before long, right?
Yeah.
Oh, my
No,
goodness.
but nothing beats that. I don't know what it is.
I like
Good
a
stuff.
nice, clean, ice cold glass of water.
Yeah.
We get we're not good enough to drink the tap water, so we
Right.
go get the 5-gallon jugs of the Primo from Walmart. But still, nothing beats ice cold water.
No, I don't.
And you said I'm fancy. Listen to him.
I like good water too.
He had Culligan over to his house. Now they didn't put it in. I get that.
Because
but-
they wanted a bunch of money. But
Yep.
I buy water bottles, too. So
Yeah.
I mean, they're only like $2, $3 to refill at Walmart. That's
Yeah.
not bad at all
I
for
mean,
good filtered water.
I'm already paying for water, so why go buy more?
Well, they charge you based on how much you use. So if you use less, they charge you less.
Yeah. You drink tap water?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I do.
that's what's wrong with him.
Yeah.
That explains
Hey.
a lot.
The little twitching.
I have for 33 years,
Yeah, to catch up.
right?
Yeah, it's probably not better than this purified members mark. This is probably tap water. He's put in a bottle, but
Jed and I were talking about
That's
the other
fresh
night,
creek water.
drinking that sulfur water. He thinks it's got to be better than that.
oh, I know. Yep. When that lake turns over and the water coming out of the pipes here, whoo, boy, does it get strong.
That's
And-
still better than
Yeah,
sulfur water.
That's the wonderful sulfur water, yeah.
Yep.
Well water, I think, is.
I think this is just reverse osmosis. Isn't
Yeah,
it?
probably.
Yep.
Mineral enhanced for taste. Actually, you don't want. They got to put the minerals back in there. If you drink just reverse osmosis water, it'll pull the minerals out of your body instead. So don't do that.
Enhance.
Well, if anyone can't tell, we don't have a firm topic for this evening.
We don't.
We were going to do part 2, talking about Jesus, and we might talk about Jesus, but we decided to put that one on hold for just a little bit.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well,
It's just, I'm glad you're here, Jed.
Deep subject. Yep.
Thank you.
I am glad that you're here.
Yep.
Yeah. I don't know if you want to talk anything about it, but
I told you anything's on board. I'm whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, I think maybe some people want to know too out there that listen to us on a regular basis, but I don't know if you want to tell it or I can tell it.
I'll let you tell it and we'll go from there.
Okay. Yeah, because it was last Tuesday. Your ex-wife and your 12-year-old daughter, Hillary, was in a car accident and both passed away.
Yes, sir.
So, it's tough. But I think the one thing that I've seen through this week of tragedy through you, Jed, was the love of the Lord.
And how strong your faith is.
How strong your faith is and how strong it is. And I think I've told you this many times that, a lot of people come to me and ask how you're doing and how you're holding up. And I say the same thing to everybody. I say he's a man of faith. He says he has, God has a plan and it's perfect. And we might not know.
We won't like it either a lot of times.
I think Derek and I had a conversation when we went to go get your refrigerator. I said, man, I don't know how we would react in this situation, but man, the first words you said to us that day, I know you had a lot, but I don't know if you remember what you said. But the first words was, he's got a plan and I just got to have faith in it.
Mm-hmm.
And I told him, I was like, man, to have that to be your first words to tell your brothers gives us a good example right there.
And that's the words that I keep using anytime I see somebody, anybody I talk to somebody, I've got to stand on my faith. He's got a plan. I don't have to ask why. I don't have to know why. And Bible doesn't lie. There's not a bad word in it. So, there's a reason they're gone, and there's a reason I'm here.
Yep.
And over the last week, I think I told you this last night, Derek, I met a neighbor, and I've known him off and on for the last 5 years, and I don't know his deal. I don't know if he knows the Lord or not, but he's reached out to me, and of course I didn't respond at the time, but I run into him at the gas station. He was sitting out in the parking lot filling up his cooler with beer, and I just jumped out and I just went and talked to him. Of course, he told me anything I can do for you, I'm sorry. And I told him my story, and I told him my faith. I don't know. I feel like that's what the Lord wants me to do. So anybody that I talk to, that's what I talk about.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the only reason I'm here if that's the only thing I got to hold on to make this make sense, is my faith. And it's just as simple as believing in everything that's in this book.
Right. Mm-hmm. And we've talked before too. We've said that if we didn't have this faith, if you didn't have this faith, Jed, it would be a disaster. You'd be a whole different person.
Definitely.
Yeah. I just saw a young lady arguing with a preacher about that, because she's like, you from your own mouth said that, this salvation that Jesus is offering doesn't remove any of the pain and suffering and anything you're going to go through. So what's the point? He says, I'm surprised you don't get the point. The point is that we're not stuck on that we have a future. We know that there's a plan that we can't see all the time. We know that there's a end goal where we're heading towards. We have something to look forward to, no matter what we're going through right now. Mm-hmm. No matter what trial we're going through. I just also saw just this morning, that the trial that you are going through right now is strengthening you for what's coming next. And that's truly how I think how the Lord works too, in a lot of ways. And that doesn't necessarily mean that, you're going to be facing another trial right away, Jed, but that your testimony that you're sharing, and I can even say that it gave me a huge boost when that same first thing you said to me, it brought me closer to the Lord with you saying that,
Yeah.
And I just we won't know till later. We won't know till we're up there in the air, and then hopefully it'll all make sense.
Yep.
That assurance that she's going to be in heaven, you're going to be running up to her.
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, I was going to add that a while ago, but I was going to let you talk. But the assurance makes it a little easier. I'm not going to say it probably takes it away, because I'll never say that. But like you said, being strong and knowing what's in there to be true, knowing that you're going to be seeing her again.
And I know we've spent a lot of time sitting on the couch, and we'd talk about church, we'd talk about salvation, and then luckily it's about a year ago that she was baptized and all, and I was really happy about that. But I don't know, the rest of the kids, they were saved and accepted Jesus probably, I don't know, it's kind of like a boom, boom, boom for the other three. Mm-hmm. And then Colby hit too, and Ethan even hit, but she was the youngest. I mean, we're talking, they go from 25 down to 12, and there's 5 years difference between the next one. She's 17, so we'll be 18 here in just a few days almost. But I felt the urge to work with her and to talk with her and to read with her, and it gives me a whole lot of peace that I did. And I mean, it wasn't me. I mean, she had pastor at the other church working on her and everybody else, I mean, and just looking around, but just to know that's another piece of mind.
Right.
That I know that's where she's going to be.
Yeah, that's where she's at.
Yep.
She's in heaven.
Leading by the example
Yeah.
helped out quite a bit.
Yep.
And I mean, the accident was very tragic. We actually, in my mind, we kept a body here for probably another 12 hours, 12 and a half hours or so. But with her injuries that she had, before they ever got her on the ambulance, before they ever put her on the helicopter, she was gone. I mean, we had a body, but I really think that she felt no pain, and she was with the Lord just momentarily, and that gives me a lot of peace too.
Right. Because, we don't experience death as Christians.
No, don't experience it. And I mean, I just have a lot of peace of that. And I mean, I talked to you on the way to the hospital,
Right.
and ambulance guys give me her shoes, and I told you, and he said, well, of course, she needs them to come home. And I'm already sitting here and thinking, okay, we know some of this and that. And I said, well, okay, it's time to buy a minivan. I knows that we're going to be in a wheelchair for months and this and that. And I don't know, but after talking to you and just kind of getting a little more peace and doing a little praying and driving, and it just kind of all come together. It really did.
I was thinking about too on the way here. I said, we just got done doing multiple series on raising kids. And I was thinking to myself, I says, it don't really matter on homeschooling versus public schools versus different rules to raise kids, different things. I was just thinking about this, Jed. I said, the most important thing that we need to do is show our kids Jesus, teach them about Jesus.
Definitely.
I think that's one of the most important things that we need to do as parents. And I don't know, I was just thinking about that just driving here. I says, we went through all this stuff and all this other crap that's saying, you need to do this. And we've said this many times before this whole week, Jed, was that a lot of this other stuff doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
Right.
It doesn't matter. Like, what really mattered was now 100% she was saved and that she's in heaven now. Mm-hmm. That was the only thing that mattered.
That's the only thing that really matters.
That was it.
Mm-hmm. I saw a bunch of stuff because I was, helping you put together the slideshow for you, and there was a bunch of different, templates or different things you could use, and a lot of them said, pray for the deceased, and I was like, why are we praying for them? She's fine. We need to pray for the family. We need to pray for you and Lisa and the rest of the brothers and sisters. That's who needs the praying, because she's in a better place.
Oh, yeah. She's in a lot better place than we are.
Yeah. Yeah. And so it's just that, again, as we were talking about last podcast, just the those slight twistings and misconceptions that have just happened over time, and so many little things that people don't understand and have just accepted, and for whatever way it is, that again, real Christians get it, though. Real Christians understand it.
Yeah, because I don't understand everything in the Bible.
No.
And none of us do.
No. And nobody will.
No, but I believe that everything is in there is true. Mm-hmm. And you always hear this saying that, I got to see it to believe it. I think that's crap.
Yeah.
Because I believe it so much that I see it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I ain't never seen gravity, and I believe in it.
Right. I believe everything that's in this book.
Yeah.
And I think your testimony right now, Judd, is just, it's awesome. It's showing that what Jesus can do.
Yep. And that for whatever reason it happened, but there's nothing that can snatch you away from that. As it says, there's nothing that can take you out of God's hands, and if you have that true faith, if you're rooted in faith, because I've also, I chalk it up to Hollywood too, but I've also heard stories as well of people going through tragedies like this, and it ruins their faith. They do that, why would God do this to me, and all that, and they turn away from God in this situation, which is exactly what the Satan wants you to do, and so again, your testimony is powerful because it can help someone else who might be on the fence and might have gone the other direction in the same type of situation.
That's the devil's number one job, is to seek and destroy.
Mm-hmm. To just ruin us.
That's it.
Mm-hmm.
That's his job.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I was doing a little reading before I had to go over to the funeral home this afternoon, and I come across this, and I don't know how I got here, but I got here, and I kind of think this kind of fits a little of this, but it's 1 John 5 and verse 4. For whatever is born of God overcomes the world. And this is the victory that has overcome the world, our faith. Who is he who overcomes the world but he who believes that Jesus is the Son of God?
Mm-hmm. That's exactly right.
Yeah.
Because, the world right now teaches you that in this situation you should be angry.
Should be angry.
You should be raging. Mm-hmm. You should be mad at somebody, something, which does you no good.
No.
Whatsoever.
And I mean, I've been told multiple times, why aren't you questioning this? Why aren't you this? I said, I can't question it. My faith does not allow me to do it. My faith says that his plan is perfect. So how am I to question his plan? I am imperfect in every way.
Yeah. I mean, we all are. Yeah. That's why he made us.
He made us.
He knows more than we do.
Yeah.
That's what it says. God holds the world in his hand. He knows everything that goes on. Every moment, everything.
Everything.
I would, he's smarter than we are.
He knows the beginning. He knows the end. He knows it all. So,
right.
Yeah.
I wouldn't understand why somebody would want you to question it, because I would think that would probably taint the good memories you would have. By the end of the day, you'll be wanting to so-called question it and get angry with either your faith or somebody or something, when you want to just think about the good times you had. I mean, to me, that would be more plausible to be thinking about was the good times, other than just trying to find an excuse to take away from that. Because at the end of the day, it's just one of those deals that you just, like you said, it's just your strong faith in it.
Yeah, because there's no rational explanation you're going to come to
Yeah.
questioning
No,
that's going to give you an answer.
And it's not, that's what I was going to go. It doesn't bring her back.
No, it doesn't bring her back.
But you can remember exactly the way it was and how it was and how much good stuff that you guys had. And that brings it better than sitting here thinking, I want to be angry, I want to question, I want to do this. Like I told you before, I can't put myself in your shoes, but that's my thought. I wouldn't want to sit here and try to be angry at something like this.
No.
Yeah.
And I don't want anybody to even try to grasp where I'm at.
Exactly.
I don't want it to even cross your minds. I mean, one of the pastors that I've asked to do Hillary's funeral is a longtime family friend. I've known him since I was a child. He was doing church camps when I was going to church camp. And I think it's 7 years ago, he lost his son. So, I mean, I'd reached out and he called me right away. And the first things he said, "Brother, I'm sorry." He said, "You have been inducted into the club that none of us want the membership to." And he said, "There's no explanations, there's no answers, and we all deal with it differently. But God's behind you." That's how he started that conversation. And I replay that one through my head.
Yeah, I would too. Wow. There's some good words there.
I've had a lot of friends that have reached out, and we got a text message from one of my customers the other day, and Lisa was with me, and she was looking over my shoulder, and she said, "That is just beautifully written." I said, "It has to be," because I said, he's in the club with me. He lost a daughter and I think some grandkids in the Joplin tornado, and his words mean gold to me.
Yeah.
I mean, he's not a Baptist, but he's got the faith of God, and I what he said touched my heart.
Yeah, you don't have to be Baptist to have
No.
the faith.
You don't have to be. I don't agree. I don't disagree with anything on the most part of any of them. I mean, when you get right down to it, it's kind of like having the faith. As long as you can believe that Jesus Christ died on the cross for your sins, and you can accept him into your heart, and you're going to be saved. The rest of that is going into humanity again, getting in the way of what the plan really is.
Yeah.
We don't need to be critical of everything.
The
Right.
Bible actually even warns Christians about being too critical about the minutia, about the minor details, and splitting up over it, which, of course, we took that very, very close to heart, and there's never been any issue with that ever in the Christian church, right? But
That goes back to Derek's question to me when he first moved here.
Yeah, I said, Jed, why is there a church on every corner? He goes, well, that one person got mad and started his own. Yeah. And now I'm like, oh, I see it. I see it now.
they won't wear blue, and I want them to wear blue.
Yeah. There's no drums allowed here. You know, whatever. It's just,
Yep.
yeah, the carpet's this color. Oh, no, I should be white. Well, that's why I said they forget about the real meaning, right?
They do.
They do. They're too focused on their own personal agendas or their own personal things that need to go their way when it comes to religion. And to be honest with you, people need to knock it off, because we need to go back to the basics.
Right?
And a lot of times we have to do that in anything that we do. You get so far up in something, sometimes you have to go back to the basics to do it right again.
That's why you're not only called to study the Bible, but you're supposed to read it from cover to cover, because otherwise you'll skip the basics. You'll skip, be like, oh, that's the easy stuff. I got that. I don't need to read that again.
Right.
And anybody who wants to sit there and argue about minutia of what you have to do to have proper salvation, I mean, you can almost just tell them, why don't you go have an argument with the guy who sat on the cross next to Jesus? Talk to him about what he had to do.
Right.
What was all the requirements he had to make?
Yep.
Because he seemed to nail it pretty quick.
Real fast. I like that. Nailed it.
Yeah, nailed it. Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, he did make it kind of simple.
We need the button.
I know. Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
it.
You could just do it. You just don't.
He did kind of make it simple. He was just saying, love the Lord and love your neighbor. So if you take it out of context past that point, you are taking it way too far.
Well, we talked about that. Me and Jed just talked about that. Was it last night?
Yeah.
Or the
believe
other,
so,
I don't
yeah.
know. Like some of these days are blending in. I know for you, Jed, I could just imagine, but
Time does not exist.
it does not
this
exist.
whole last week.
Yeah.
So.
But we just got done talking about that as well. What is the number one commandment? right? Is to love thy God with all thy heart, right?
Yep.
And then what's the second one? Love thy neighbor. If you love God, all of this stuff falls in. And we just talked about it with marriage as well. What do we put first in front of a marriage? We put God first.
Yep.
God is number one. We put him first. All of this other stuff's going to fall into place.
Yeah.
It's not going to be easy. We're not saying this is going to be easy. Because everything through life is hard. Change is hard. Changing your routine is hard. So being a Christian is going to be hard. So everything in life is going to be hard. But however you want to say it, the prize at the end is worth it.
Well worth it.
It's well worth the hard work that we're doing. You know, I know you were talking, Daniel, like you said you wanted to change a little bit with the youth group and your techniques. Yes, it's going to be hard to change those things. But change is always going to be hard. But in the end,
change is also good.
change is good. Yeah, I embrace change. I don't know. That's what I've said before, but I don't know. But yeah, we really forget about the basics a lot. We really do. We get into this mindset of, I know we need to learn God's word and we really need to be into God's word and to be mature Christians, right? To get off the milk and get on to maturity level. But I think sometimes when you get to that point as well, sometimes you need to go back.
Right. You can't do it without the other.
You can't.
You need both. But
Start making it complex when you.
right.
You know, and I think sometimes that people put it in their own understanding. I think, though, this might be this and this might be that. I think this might be that. Well,
And it
what
might
is
be,
what is it saying here? It says this. Okay, then that's what it is.
Yeah.
Plain and simple.
And it's the living word. Right. I mean, what you're going through right now is different than what I'm going through. And so the same verse that we read will speak different to you than it does to me.
Yep. And that's how
And
God speaks to you.
And it doesn't mean one is correct over the other.
Yep.
What's correct is what it says. The way we translate it
Yep.
is different.
Yep.
And we go back to the point where being a Christian's hard. I mean, we have evidence of that, especially our 12 ordinary men. We look at every disciple. They didn't have an easy walk.
No.
So if it started out with the people that actually walked with Jesus that had a hard time, what makes us think it's going to be easy for us?
And Jesus set that example. I mean, we talk about that all the time too as well. When Jesus walked this earth, he set the perfect example.
Yeah, he never took an easy path.
Never took an easy path.
Not once.
Not once.
He purposely took the hard path multiple times.
Right. And loved people.
Right.
Along the way.
Along the way, loved people.
But and I think an important thing to make sure you pull in with it, though, is the promise he does give you, which is hard to put these two concepts together because we know it'll be difficult. We know it'll be persecution, but he also says the burden will be light. My yoke is easy.
Right.
But that's because if you group up with other Christians, there is nothing I can compare to that, to having other Christians to be able to fellowship with. When you go through these trials and tribulations, it is like you have a team now, as opposed to you against the world on your own. So that's how I take that verse into it, because you're right. That doesn't say that it's going to be easy. It's not saying our lives are going to be all sunshine and roses at that point. Right. But it is saying that if you are a Christian who believes in this word and then finds other Christians who are, with you in one accord, as it says, you will find relief. You will find help. You will never be alone. You will never have to struggle by yourself.
But you said it right there too. Jesus never said you wouldn't have problems or a burden. People need to get that out of their head because they're Christians thinking everything's going to go away and it's perfect.
Yep.
He said the opposite.
No.
You will still have it, but I'm right here with you. So, I mean.
And so are all your brothers and sisters.
Exactly.
I'm just reminded of what Paul says, though. I fought the good fight, finished the race, keep the faith. I think back 19 years ago, February. No. Yeah, it might have been February. My best friend passed away from cancer at the age of 14. Right? Like, So like Wyatt losing a best friend, like I get it. I've been there at that age, you know. So and it's a struggle, but I remember back to what he told me just a few days before he passed. He looked at me. He said, "No matter what, keep the faith." He said, "I've fought my fight. Now go fight yours and keep the faith." And that's the only way that we get through these trials, through these tribulations, through these hard times. No one's going to understand it. No one's going to get it. But what we have to understand is that God does get it. God understands it. And that's the faith that we stand on, is that God knows what we're going through, and God's going to provide the comfort to get us through it, whether that's through other people, because we're also not supposed to forsake ourselves together and gathering together as Christians, right? So sometimes that's the comfort that God gives us, is other people that we pull around us, right? And sometimes that's comfort by ourselves sitting on a tractor, and God just speaks to us in that moment to give us comfort.
But we also see that, again, that this is the living word by the examples of Jed's famous quote here. Nothing's new under the sun. So in this Bible, we see poor people, we see rich people, we see death, we see Christian fellowship, we see love. So any situation you're in, pop that book right open and you'll be able to see.
It's already been there.
Yeah, you'll already see that somebody's already written down the example of how we're supposed to act or be, or who we need to be with through this whole situation.
Yeah. And now we're spoiled. I mean, you can go on Google and just be like, Google Bible verses about whatever I'm going through right now.
Yeah.
That is for the dumb people.
Guyquestions.org.
Yeah, right. It helps, though. It pops right up.
It does.
I'm not good at Google, and I'm not good at. I don't know what's in this. I can't quote, but I did read something before I left the house this afternoon, and this is up for you guys to tell me where I read this, because I cannot find it or in my notes that I had here. But
Got the Google
No
right
Google.
Google it, get ready, guys. And I don't know the exact words, but it was, long as we have the Lord God, Jesus with us, everything, it's not hard if we have him in our heart to do the right things, to keep his commandments. I know I read it, but I do not know where it was.
Well,
It's not a burden to keep the commandments if we are truly a Christian.
Right.
So,
Before Ray fixes it, I was going to throw this out here, Jed.
Okay.
We know if you lost it, if you grabbed your Bible and started talking to it like Google.
That
could happen. This week has been that week.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I agree. I was just saying, don't do that. We'll help you.
Ray's is good at the old Google.
I am. That's why I'm tech support. Yep.
Yeah, I make fun of Crystal too.
You're right there in the same boat now.
No.
You're just. What was you saying about that?
But like you said, Derek, you know, you've had people talk to you and talk about how I've handled this. Now, Lisa, on the other hand, we know is a completely different story. So
Right.
I don't want to leave her completely out of it. But,
No.
I mean, she's got the faith, but she still, I don't know. We all deal with everything different.
We do.
Yeah.
We do.
And there's no right or wrong. But, I mean, she's taking it real rough. But, like what you said a while ago, we love the Lord first. And then I had the privilege yesterday to meet another Derek,
right.
which is
Oh,
a
my
pastor. And
He sounds like a really good guy.
my
Because he
goodness.
explained it last night. I'm like, yeah, that fella's cool.
he's cool. And I got a text from him this afternoon, and
you?
he says, I hope this isn't the last time I see you, brother. So we're getting back together, and you're invited.
Nice. Nice.
Two Derricks will not make it right.
But I mean, he laid it out, and he said, you know, Lisa was concerned because I was on point from the time of the accident and probably till the next morning until I called a guy that I consider a brother in Texas. And I kind of lost it a little bit, but not really. But Lisa said, I felt like, okay, he got it. Because, I mean, I at one point up there at the hospital, I was like, I haven't shed a tear. I haven't done nothing. Doctors are coming and talking to me. I've talked to a trauma team, an ICU doctor. I've talked to the ER doctor. I've talked to a brain surgeon. I've talked to this. I've talked to that. I've talked to this. All smart people that's worked on her, and it's repeat. I had no emotion for it because I heard it the first time. Mm-hmm. But I never broke. But I had 3 other kids sitting right there that I had to keep things going for. And she was worried, and he said, you don't need to worry about him. He's grieving. He said, we've sat here and talked for 15, 20 minutes. He said, I can see the grief. I can hear it in what he talks to me about. He said, we're all different. We all have a different way. So you don't need to worry.
Well, see, and sometimes we put on the world view on people grieving.
Yeah.
Right? Like, this is what the world says how you need to grieve.
Mm-hmm.
This is what the world says. Well, we've done stats and we've done studies, and this is the way you should do it. Well, you're all wrong, because what we go by is right here. It's sitting right here, the Holy Bible. This is what we go by.
And everybody's
You remember
different.
what I sent you the first of the week?
Yeah.
It was 1 Corinthians chapter 2, I believe.
I think so. I got
Yep. I had it marked here. I don't know. Yep, here it is. But I kind of read back through just the very first of it, which is a short chapter, but like chapter 2, verse 4. And my speech and my preach you in weakness and fear and in much trembling. Well, I read that wrong. I skipped a line. My eyes don't work, and I do not have memory. And my speech and my preaching were not in persuasive words of human wisdom, but in demonstration of the Spirit and power, that your faith should not be in the wisdom of men, but in the power of God.
That's it. Mm-hmm. That's it.
That's it.
Yeah. We're not in the wisdom of the world.
No, and that's the thing. We talked about this chapter, me and you, and it has several meanings to me and you both, and we're going to talk probably more about it some other time. But in this one, I mean, we're supposed to be in God.
Right.
The world does not see because they do not understand without God within them. They cannot see what we are.
Correct.
They think we're nuts. Mm-hmm. We know they're nuts.
Yeah.
And we are a little nuts too.
Yeah. Yeah.
But what we believe, they have no clue.
Right. No clue.
Yeah.
I know you guys said we didn't know what we was going to talk about tonight, but what we're talking about tonight is faith.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yep.
It's true. It's I couldn't find exactly what you were looking for, but the closest it comes is what I'd actually was already mentioned is Matthew 11 at the end of Matthew, right? And he says, "Come to me, all who labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I am gentle and lowly in heart, and you will find rest for your souls. For my yoke is easy and my burden is light." Now he said rest for your soul.
Yep.
Right? It's not your body.
Not your body.
It's not your mind.
Right.
Or your heart. I mean, that's the one thing that it gets my wife's hackles up every time. It says, "Oh, follow your heart." No, don't do that.
No.
Don't. The heart is wicked. Do not. You need to follow the Lord. That's what you need to follow.
You know, I belonged on this email, whatever you want to call it, chain that they send out Bible verses and stuff almost every day. Mm-hmm. And yesterday, Jed, you know, it's funny. 2 Corinthians 5:7 was sent to me. For we walk by faith, not by sight. Mm-hmm. 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 Yep. Mm-hmm. And they have like a little saying that always goes with them. You guys have gotten some of them that I've cut and pasted and sent. And, you know.
We're surprised you can do that.
I know.
I thought it was genuinely from you.
No.
Come on now, you know that, boy.
No. I wish I could come up with cool words like that.
Yeah.
I'm not that smart.
He just goes, "These are the words that are in my brain."
Yes, yes. They know it too. They sent it to me.
Yeah.
He wants to be a wordsmith.
Yeah, I do. I'm not really good with words, but yeah, it's funny that one got sent to me yesterday, and that's what we're talking about is faith, and that's what you've been talking about all week, Jed.
It is. Yep.
Your faith is strong.
With that scripture you just read there in Corinthians, just your opinion question here. Do you feel like you were comforted and strengthened by the Lord because you said, don't put your faith in men? Do you think because the Lord probably told them what to tell you and he told you what to accept and say back to him? Do you feel like your faith was enough in God, whatever they said was what was basically needing to be done, as far as that scripture goes?
And who's they that I'm?
Your doctors and
My
stuff.
doctors?
Yeah. To make you feel like you kept the strength up for your kids, your family, and yourself, and you're grieving in the way you do. Do you feel like basically that God gave you the strength just to listen to what they said and stand on it?
Definitely. I mean, without God, there's no way any of us could handle the situation.
Yeah. But for the mere fact of you being, like you told me the other day, we're going to handle business and then we'll deal with the rest. That verse right there, when you read that just now, and you said, well, the doctors told me this, and I didn't have any response because I've heard it all the first time. That sounds like God basically gave you everything you needed.
Yeah.
Not to lose it right there.
He gave me everything. And I mean, I didn't lose it then, and I still hadn't seen her when I'd talked to half of them. But when I got to go back into the ICU, when they bring her back up from round 2 or round 3 of surgeries, God let me see it. I seen it with my eyes. I knew.
Yeah. Prepping you for that position.
Yeah.
Yep.
Definitely. I mean,
Still difficult, but
it's
prepping you for it. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, he will not put you in a situation that you can't survive through. Again, another promise that's in the Bible. I don't exactly remember where, but I can find it. But when I mean spiritually, not physically. I mean, because you might die, but I meant spiritually survive through, to make that clear. Because
you always hear that God's going to give you something that you can handle, right? I'm going to throw this out there, and you can correct me if I'm wrong. I don't believe that.
I don't either.
Because I believe that God's going to give you stuff so you can go to him.
Well, yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Because I can't handle this. I'm going to God.
Yeah.
Right? So when we say that God's only going to give you something that you can handle, that's not true.
That's true.
Because God's going to give you something that you can't handle, only he can handle.
Because
Handle
that's
through
what
him. Yep.
that's what helps grow your faith,
Right.
right? I mean, we've talked about that before. Faith grows in the valley.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, very few people grow faith at the top.
No, they yeah. And that goes with a lot of things. I mean, so, the guy on top of the mountain isn't as hungry as the guy climbing up the mountain.
No, not at all.
Right?
Yeah.
And that's what you said. We're going to grow in the valley.
Yeah.
We're growing on the way up to the mountain.
So that question was directly going back to what Ray was saying. Your burden and his yoke right there. That's where I was leading to, because that basically shows you, of course, living word, but shows you that the scriptures will let you go through something with God. Mm-hmm. And you just said he prepped you for that. Not to make it easy on you.
Right.
But he's there with you to go through that and handle it through the Lord. See, so right there, that's just simple enough just to sit here and talk about, but that just puts 2 and 2 together to show you how simple that could be, just a scripture pertaining to something in your life at that moment.
well, like Derek was saying, I think the Lord was with me through this, and he didn't know. There's no way I can handle it.
Right.
And it might not be for me to go to him to handle it, but he knew with him within me, I could handle it.
Right.
And it glorifies him more when I see that. Mm-hmm. I mean, I might not have to go out and search because he's there. I already know that.
Right.
And that's one thing. That's why my answer is the same anytime anybody asks, because what are you going to do? You glorify him. I mean, you have to in all situations.
Yeah, you told me too. It might not be for you.
No, it might not be for me.
It might be for somebody else, and a lot of times it is for somebody else.
Yeah.
More often than not, actually.
Right.
You know, he's going to use you as an example, or Hillary as an example, and a blessing for somebody else.
Well, I'll step one step farther and talk about services, because this won't come out until after the services are over. I reached out to my cousin, which he's a pastor, and I told him, I said, this is who I want. And I said, you get the team together here and you guys do what you need to do. And he says, he called me back in a few days, or I talked to Brother Paul, and he called me and told me those good words that we spoke earlier. And he called me back and he says, about all I can do is a prayer. I mean, he's kind of close to Hillary too. I mean, we wasn't around all the time, but enough. And he said, I just can't do more than a prayer. Then Brother Jerry had called, which was the pastor that baptized her and this and that. And he's, well, what's our plan? I said, the Lord's going to tell you your plan. And so Brother Paul's already told me there's a message God's already laid on his heart. He hadn't preached at church camp in 24 years. He's been asked to go back this year. He said, I'm supposed to be speaking to children. He said, there'll be children at this service, I know. The Lord's already laid this message on my heart. I said, there you go.
Wow.
They keep kind of dancing around, and my cousin calls me back the other day, and he's, well, what do you think we need to do? And I said, I went through the whole thing. We're back with him. I said, this is it. I said, I'm picking out music for this. And I said, I'm picking out songs. I said, there's one just for fun song that's just for us kids and Dad. I mean, this was our deal. But I said, I've got 5 songs, which is almost too many. Derek's heard one, and it's a perfect fit for Hillary.
It sure is.
You kind of got a hint of a couple others. But everything I have listened to multiple times, because I'm going to agree with at least 80 to 90% of every word in this, because this is not only to say goodbye to Hillary. This could be talking to someone in that crowd. This is another type of service, another glorification of God. And I said, it's kind of like me putting an auction together. It's putting all the puzzle pieces together. I'll do my little part, you guys do your part, and we'll make this work. But I said, it's not just to say goodbye to Hillary. We got to glorify God in this too.
And I've seen you in your actions and some of the things you've said when being around you this past week is kind of like piggybacking on what I said on Sunday during classes, that you're giving. You are not making it about you. You're not making it selfish.
Yeah.
Right? With the study, one of the questions we went through, and I was looking at them, like, you could break it down to even simplest is that all sin is taking, and God wants you to love, which is giving. He wants you to give, not take. And if you can be a person who doesn't take for yourself, and this is one of those occasions where you see a lot of people make it all about me. I want my thing, my way, and they get all bent out of shape if it's not, and start fighting other people about it. You know.
Yep.
And I have seen you, even when you get upset about something, you just and you're like, okay, fine, because you're like, I get it. It's not yes, it might not be what you want. But it's you quickly have come to that. It's okay. There's a plan here. There's a purpose here, and as long as you keep following God's will and keep giving, you're going to be accomplishing it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I see that too, Ray. I really do. Being with you all this time.
I know I've stressed you out this week.
That's okay. No, that's okay. I mean, that's what,
I give you a night off.
I know you did. You did. And I slept.
I came over.
You came over. That's why he's like, you come over for pizza, Randy's over here. No, we just got done eating too, and I'm like, oh, I'm so exhausted. But he did give me a night off. I did sleep. But
Yeah, but Anna looked at me and she goes, does he know it's about 9 o'clock? Derek ain't getting out of the house at 9 o'clock.
Oh, we did. We do. I mean,
You made it about 8:30 last night, wasn't it?
Yeah. I mean, we've been over at your house probably till midnight, for many nights, but
Yeah.
But also, I mean, God's provision in that too, that put you in a place where you can do that right now.
you're right.
You're
absolutely right. I can spend the nights, or I can do this and whatever. That's what I've told you many times, and I think a lot of people have, is whatever you need, that's what we're here for. And
Exactly.
And that kind of brings up a little bit for me as well, and probably you. I mean, I don't want to speak for you, Jed, but this is the time that people need to come together.
Yeah.
This is the time where the church needs to come. This is the time that other Christian people need to come together. And it even says, and I had the verse, and I can't remember where it's at, but it says, we grieve with you, right? Other Christians grieve with other Christians. Mm-hmm. So we're supposed to do. Mm-hmm. And I think a lot of times when tragedy does hit, sometimes a lot of people focus on something else. And that's the time where I think we need to come together and be very strong for other Christian people.
Well, I believe if we come together in a tragedy, there's going to be a blessing out of it.
Absolutely.
There's no need to run and hide or to run and go and look somewhere else.
Right.
Because God gives us our blessings, our tragedies, our heartaches, everything for a reason that will come back to glorify Him if we use it.
If we use it, yes.
Mm-hmm. And that part of loving your neighbor, I mean, you still have to be there for your brothers and sisters. Mm-hmm. As far as, I mean, you can't, I'm not going to say plus, but you can't have your faith without love.
You can't.
So, I mean, you're going to have to you have to put those two together at some point. I'm not going to say it's the whole command of, loving your neighbor by being with them and grieving. I'm saying it's whatever it takes, not just that.
I don't know if we talked about this or not on the podcast. I'm pretty sure it's been brought up in our children raising, but I had a older daughter that I haven't had a relationship with in 10 years. And of course, that changed on Tuesday night. Mm-hmm. And by Wednesday night, she says, I'm not losing you again. She's here. I'm not saying it's easy, but we're talking. We're dealing with this together. I look for her for guidance and stuff. I'm not making all the decisions myself. Not only have I gained her back, she has got a fiance. They're getting married in October. You talk about a very, very well knowledgeable young 21-year-old. Mm-hmm. He's got a heart of gold. He's been right there with us. So I've gained 2 kids by losing 1 kid.
Yep.
There's already a blessing coming back to me there.
Mm-hmm. When we left, me and Taylor were over at your house Thursday, and when we left, Taylor looked at me and she goes, I still don't understand why. And you were standing outside talking to your daughter and future son-in-law, and I looked at her and said, that right there's why. Mm-hmm. Because I mean, we've talked about it, and I told her, it's like, that very well could be why this had to happen, so that relationship could be brought back together.
It could be.
I mean, and I think there's many why.
There's many reasons. There's many reasons why.
Yeah.
There's going to be. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, there's many.
Right.
That's not it.
No.
Right.
I mean, that's just one of them.
That's just one of them.
But
that's the one that's the one that settles my heart.
Right.
Now.
That was the one that was right
Yeah.
there in front of me, and I was like, okay, I could.
That's the one I think God gives me a little more comfort with.
Right. Yeah.
But is that all that's going to come out of this?
No.
Not even close.
No, that was
not even close.
That's probably the immediate why right there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's a great blessing, though.
Yeah.
It is.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I told Derek the other day, I said, I've known you for a long while. I didn't even know you had another one. It's like, I tell you start talking about on podcasts, I'm like, who is this one?
That's my Hannah and my Haley.
Yeah,
They're reversed from your Hannah.
I was
Haley
gonna say,
and
we
Ages.
talked about that the other night, reversed.
Yeah.
But is your Hannah just about as feisty as my Hannah? Y'all had the privilege.
I would not want to find out because I'd say they're on a pretty close playing field right there.
I was going to say, you guys seen a small glimpse on the last podcast ever. That was being nice. No.
You think 10 years and not seeing me has made her soft?
She didn't really.
All of our daughters, if you really think about it, they're all little pistols.
Yeah, they are. They really are.
They really are little pistols, man.
Yeah.
Of course, now Hillary, she was the smartest of the whole bunch. She was as wise as any of us sitting here around the table.
She was the only 5th grader I let come out to youth group.
I mean, she had her child moments, but she had a mind of a 30 to 40-year-old.
Yeah, she did.
She really did.
She definitely acted a lot older than her age, you know.
But I was telling her grandpa today over at the funeral home, he's having a rough time. He does not understand why. And I tried to talk to him a little bit, you know, in soft-spoken, not here it is in your face, but soft-spoken. And we got to talking about her, and I said, did you ever see her in a bad mood? Has any of you seen her in a bad mood?
Only if I picked on her.
Yeah, but that wasn't a bad mood.
No, I don't think I've ever seen her in a bad mood.
I never seen her in a bad mood. The only time that she was ever in a bad mood is when she was sick. And she wasn't in a bad mood. She just wouldn't shut down.
Right.
Other than that, there's nothing but joy from that girl.
Mm-hmm.
You could be in a bad mood and change because of her.
Yeah, you could.
Many Wednesday nights I'd come in upset and see her and be like, all right, I'm good. Let's go.
I don't know.
She wouldn't let you be upset because
No,
she'd
she
come over
wouldn't.
there and go, she poke the bear.
She messes with you, yeah.
I was thinking the other day, you guys know I like the fist bumps and all that. I was thinking the other day, I was like, that girl never fist bumped me. She'd act like she was going to do it, and then she goes, turkey.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, me and Wyatt's got their secret handshake now.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yep. Yeah, you're right. I don't think I've ever seen her.
Yeah, I was trying to think, too.
I can't remember one.
No.
Oh.
No.
There's a lot to learn from that.
There's a lot to
There's
learn.
a lot to learn from that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and she rode in our car most of the time all the way down to Florida.
Yeah, I didn't see her. Right. There or back.
Right. Her and Wyatt just hung out in the back of the SUV.
Yeah.
And, yeah, there were 2 peas in a pod, man.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That was a good trip, though.
Yeah, it was.
It was fun.
I think I got some pictures from that up in the slideshow.
Yep.
So.
Ray's done very, very good work.
I wouldn't expect anything less.
I try not to.
He went well above what I was expecting.
Nerd.
Because if it was any of us, it'd be pictures on a board just taped up there.
Yeah.
Just hit next. You just need to hit next.
I can just see it now. It'd be on a big whiteboard or something, and Derek's with a video camera just going to each one of them. There's your slideshow.
I had to print them out.
No, it would actually just be us walking across the stage with a picture.
Yeah.
That's what it would be.
Yeah, the tricky part's going to be getting all the copyrighted music on there, but I'll figure it out.
Just let it ride.
Yeah,
Let it ride.
no.
Yeah. Bring it.
Yep.
You want to get for copyright on,
Well,
on this?
they don't have LimeWire anymore, so I don't know if you guys are old enough to remember LimeWire. Maybe not. You used to be able to just download music for free.
I do.
It's funny because you look at me when you're like, I don't think you're old enough, and what are you? You're older?
That's figured you'd know what LimeWire was, but I guess not.
Hey,
Don't worry,
they're-
I'm too old.
They're too old to know what LimeWire was.
Yeah.
Because that's what we used to put music on MySpace.
Yeah.
Was LimeWire.
It was LimeWire. Yeah.
But
Yep.
but somebody just turned another year old, so I mean, we can't say that he's not old now.
Right. Oh, I know.
Are you like 53?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I'm
Happy
not older than
birthday,
Jed.
Ray.
Yeah,
I remember putting like
42.
the little papers in a cassette so I could record it to another cassette.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Over it.
Yeah, tape over.
Yep, you had to
remember
tape
that?
over the little hole so that you could re-record.
Well, I can tell you the one fun song that I've got planned. When I was a kid, I listened to it. So the kids have liked it. But I listened to it on a record.
I was gonna say.
Well, the first records or
That's back when they were blowing
And
the
I was
jugs.
so good that in my bed, it was on my nightstand, and I could reach over and I could set it to the start of it in the dark without looking at it to play it again.
play it again.
Oh, the old records.
Now I'm interested. You said records. I like it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, right after, I shared a couple of them with Jen and Lisa. My wife's been working on some music, and a lot of it hit real hard home for everything that was going on. She, played a little concert. Just not concert. She's rehearsing. She's practicing, and I was like, I'm just going to practice videotaping. Like, she's like, no, you're not going to post this. Like, no, I'm not going to post. Don't worry. But the whole time I was like, I want to share this with Jen and Lisa. I just want to share it with them so they can hear it because, she's redoing It Is Well With My Soul. And that one just, it's a good song any day. And right now, literally, I'm sitting there listening to her just crying, bringing me to tears. And 100% honest, I was telling Jen and Lisa, I've never cried working on a computer before, right? And putting this slideshow together for them today there was some definite moments that just came up, and it's just seeing such a beautiful girl with a beautiful life, and even just that how I haven't even known you guys that long, but I've known you long enough, and it was just something that after I started, I said, I'm going to make sure I do this right because it's worth doing. It's worth doing right. So
That was the thing, though, with Hillary was you didn't have to know her long to know who she was.
No.
I mean, it was like you met her one time and you were instant best friends with her.
Yep.
I mean,
Yeah.
like it just...
She didn't get that from me. Well, maybe me and Derek might have worked that way, but that's about it.
Whatever. You're my best friend.
And he claims me. Randy.
Yeah, I think it comes back to too, Jed. Is just we're all here for a reason.
Yeah.
We are.
We all got put together, and we keep saying it all the time. With this men right here that we sit around this table with, we meant to be together. Something. God has put us together for a reason, and God is putting people in our lives for a reason. We all have a purpose. We all do. We just got to find that purpose.
Yeah.
Some of us do.
Yeah. With that being said, I mean, I think we can all be joyful about Hillary. But we all can grieve Hillary with you too. I mean, I think that's how close we are.
Yeah. Definitely.
But I still don't. Which bear was I? Was I the panda?
You're the panda.
I was thinking that
I'm
when
Teddy.
you said that, and I was
I'm
like,
the
which
teddy
one was
bear.
I?
You're the
Didn't-
panda bear.
Yeah.
And
I was just a bear.
you're just the bear. I think you kind of was grizzly bear.
Right.
And,
Yeah.
So-
Don't poke the bear.
Remind me, because I have short-term memory, I guess. How did that all come to? She just come up to me one day and said that, and you guys were over there laughing. I
It
was
started with Derek. And then it went to me and then you. So
And that's like this thing that sits in front of us all the time.
I was just talking.
I don't know what they're talking about, Daniel.
I'm lost on that.
Yeah, I don't know.
I was talking about hibernating today, and I was like, "Well, Ray just ruined that for me because it doesn't mean the same anymore."
Yeah,
Yep,
bears don't.
it's just what you normally do.
Yeah, see, I thought it was just
but
eat
do
a lot.
panda
Just
bears
be,
even hibernate?
I don't know. I'll have to research my ancestors.
Do grizzly bears even hibernate?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Apparently not.
Apparently not. Go over to Ray.
Apparently not.
He must have found that on the Google.
Yep. It was.
Must be so true.
Right.
It's true. Nowadays, you don't even know what's true
Yeah, I was
anymore.
on a meme.
Yeah. It wasn't Facebook, so it had to be real.
Right.
Is that a meme he found on Instagram?
Probably.
It's truth.
Well, I know when we talked about doing this podcast tonight, and we told you whenever you wanted to. We were gonna say whenever, because I know we're doing it every other Thursday, and I know with this, and you're like,
This is time.
this is time. That's what you told us.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what you told me. Like, no, I'm doing this, and we're like,
There's a message
Okay.
to get out. The Lord told me we got to get this out,
mm-hmm.
Yeah.
and that's why I told you anything's free game. I'm nothing to hold back.
Right. Yeah. But
Might
Yes.
be our shortest one.
it might be a short one, but hey. Yeah. I mean, it was a rough start, but like you said, I mean, your example right now of what you're showing is what we need to look at.
Yeah.
Well, my prayers through the day, through the night, whenever is always, Lord, just help me to walk and be more like your son Jesus in any ways that I need to, and to be just as close and step by step like him. And you think about that, I mean, that's to love everybody, that's to be an example. And I don't know, this is not the example that I wanted to be, but it's here and I've got to use it. Because that is my faith. So I've got to keep it and just go with it completely, without question.
And you keep that attitude, and God's going to be with you, and God's going to speak through you and work through you. And again, I think we've all said we've seen that already too. So I think you are setting an exact example of what a Christian is supposed to do.
That's what I'm trying.
And we've heard that too. We've heard people say that, this is every parent's nightmare. And with your faith is what's getting you through this. Is God, comfort.
Mm-hmm. Because I'm not looking at it as a nightmare.
Mm-mm.
It's not the experience that I want, but I'm not looking at it as a nightmare.
Right.
There's a reason.
Mm-hmm.
There's a reason I'm still here. There's a reason you're still here.
Right.
We've got things to do.
Yep.
Her work was done, so is it for us to carry something else on? Probably so.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And that just shows the strength that you have through Christ. There is, you say you ask him what you want me to do, and then you don't renege on something he put you through.
Mm-hmm.
And that just shows how strong faith was that a person can have compared to someone questioning their faith right now. Is, I asked for it, it's not what I wanted, but I got to be strong enough to work through it, or don't make me a hypocrite about what I asked for God.
Well, anything we ask for, God, you ask for this or ask for that. I mean, anything will come to you that you ask for in his name that's true to become.
Exactly.
But it's not a magic wand.
No.
I mean, it's just not all of a sudden, poof, and you've got this. No, you might have to suffer through a little bit of something to learn something to get there, to get it. So that's kind of how I look at this. I mean, I've asked to be able to walk closer to him and to stay step by step with him. So,
And you're setting the example for a lot of people. And, just your kids now,
yeah,
that they've lost their mother and, and their sister,
yeah.
and you're setting that example through Jesus,
Mm-hmm. Hayden was there the other night after you left, and I almost thought I was preaching for a minute. But we had a good conversation there.
That's
but
good.
Because he was he's having a tough time.
Yeah.
I mean, he truly is.
Mm-hmm.
He's the lost boy in the group that don't know which way to run. Everything in his world's upside down. So,
Right.
But he's starting to see.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you just keep being that light,
That's it.
right? You
Yep.
keep being that good example for him. There was another verse I came across just yesterday that I think fits really well in here. And this is just part of it that I think fits with what we're talking about. But it's Romans 13, verse 12. The night is far gone, the day is at hand. So let us cast off the works of darkness and put on the armor of light. Right? And that's...
I read that one earlier.
Yep.
That's definitely...
That's exactly what you're doing right now. You're like, let's cast off the darkness and put on the armor of light and go out and be bright. That's all we can do.
That's all we can do.
I've said this to you, Jed, and we've talked about it, and I think we all have a monster in us. I think we all have, something in us that it could let go. You know what I mean? If we didn't have this faith and we weren't following Jesus, and we released that monster, it's not good. And I don't know all the words to say, but I know we've talked about it, where you could be somebody completely different.
Completely.
And no, I admire what your faith and everything that you're doing and the example that you're setting.
I'll second that.
Yeah. No, I greatly appreciate you.
I do it for no recognition other than the glory of God.
That's
all I can do.
I like your willingness to let us help you too, not just shut us out too.
I hate help.
yeah, you do.
We know.
Don't we all around this table?
Not me.
Some of us hate to help. I forgot.
Easy there, Panda.
Yeah.
He helped. He let me borrow his lawnmower. That was helpful.
I've heard a story where he had to walk a couch up a hill.
He did. Yeah.
He killed me.
He did come and help move the couch up.
I said, I'm glad I'm your only friend.
Yeah. He chooses who he wants to help, Derek.
I don't understand why you have to live on the side of a hill, though. That's all I... and carry a couch down.
Everybody in Bella Vista lives on the side of a hill. I don't know if you've seen Bella Vista, but that's what it is.
Yeah.
Hey, I don't want to hear it. Okay. People work at 2:00 in the afternoon. All right.
Oh, do they?
Yeah. I need your help. Okay, I get off at 4. Well, I've already done it at 2. Well, sorry.
That's why
I get to call afterwards. Okay.
That's why I wait till 5:30 or 6. Yeah. Hey, Randy, I need your help.
Sorry, I'm helping Derek.
That's going to be the new excuse.
Derek's other quote: "If I'm saying yes to you, what am I saying no to?"
That is very true, boys.
I don't need quotes tonight. I just have yours.
There's a lot of truth behind that.
Yeah.
It's true.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate your help.
Next time you load that refrigerator by your own self.
I did. I had to move that thing inside and out a couple times already. And then we had to move it over to Jed's house.
You were getting really good at moving that. When I need it moved, I holler.
Okay.
Yeah. Thanks,
call the
Autumn, for your
expert.
trailer.
Huh?
Thanks, Autumn, for trailer.
Yeah. Did you use my new horse trailer? Sure did.
Yeah.
We got it
That's
before it got
right.
dirty.
Sorry.
I didn't know you. I didn't realize you paid me for it yet.
You're right.
Yeah, first thing she said, "Did you scratch my trailer?" I don't know. It's dark.
She wasn't happy with that phone call. I seen her sitting on the couch when you called.
Well, it's funny because I told Crystal that. I says, I'm going to show her a little respect. Let's see. I'm going to treat her like an adult now. And I says, Autumn, can I borrow your horse trailer? I'm going to be nice. I don't really care. I'm going to use it anyways.
It's going to happen.
The answer is yes.
Hooked up to the truck. I'm like, I don't want to unhook. And then my flatbed trailer had full of junk on there. And it was going to be, I'm just going to ask her to be nice. And then the answer was like, really? Why? I guess. I'm like, okay, cool.
Well,
And he's not exaggerating.
Right.
good, because I'm halfway back now with
Yeah, I'm going to use it anyways, but
Remember, Autumn, it says honor your mother and father.
Right. Yeah, those kids forget about that.
Whenever they buy you horse trailers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They say God just said love him and love your neighbor. Said nothing about mom and dad. New Testament.
Mm-hmm. Right. Oh, man.
Yeah, I told him, man, I said, just get out of Derek's way. It's dark, and he's going to back that trailer up one way or another through this yard. Don't be in his way.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know if you got out. I left.
It's tricky.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you ain't got 40 acres to turn around there.
No, I don't. Unlike some people. No, I got a little yard and a little driveway.
But you're welcome over there anytime.
I know. I know. Every time I go over there, like, man, that another 40 acres right next to us for sale, Crystal.
Hey, just remember, you still got more than I do. So there you go. Be grateful for that.
I am grateful.
Mm-hmm.
But I wish I had 40.
Grass ain't always greener.
Just a couple of Saturdays and you can.
Right? Yeah.
I wish I even had grass on my side of the fence.
What is this stuff you speak of, grass?
Right.
Our neighborhood's just all clay and weeds. Like there's no grass, but it's all right.
I mean,
It's not even my fence, not even my grass. So
ours is rocks.
yeah, it's
Cheap
true.
grass.
It's true. Yep.
Everything I own is inside this.
Rocks and grass.
So you're saying I need to sharpen my blades after you
No.
use it? No, just
He hit those rocks. No,
Hit the
Vista rocks.
just right.
No,
They're
that's
sharpening stones.
that's back behind the back fence.
I did that first,
Down.
and then we
Yeah.
Yeah.
I use your mower on the rocks, weed eater in the yard. Isn't that what you're supposed to do?
You got a rock yard?
No.
Oh, I figured you's like everybody else.
No.
You know, Daniel's is probably like the greenest grass. It gets fertilized and it kills the weeds and
It's Kentucky bluegrass.
right. Yeah, Kentucky bluegrass.
Actually. Next
even know
couple
what that
weeks, I'll put out my fertilizer
Yeah,
to kill
see?
the dandelions and green the grass up.
I wasn't wrong.
No, I take pride in my yard.
We gotta get
I
that
do.
pH balance up.
That's like when my father-in-law parks in it. I'm like, I'm gonna punch you in the face. Quit. Like you wrote it up.
Don't you feel this carpet out here?
Right.
I told Taylor last year after I mowed it, I went and sat out in the yard because it felt so good. She goes, "Really?" I was like, "Oh, just wait. One day we're gonna have 40 acres of this kind of grass."
Yeah, with fertilizer pricing now,
I will go.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I bet.
He only dreams.
Yeah,
I mean,
we go over to your house. I'm like, oh, it smells like money over there. And those girls are like, it stinks like chicken litter. Yeah,
Yeah.
That's all I heard all my life. That smells like money.
I don't like the smell of your money. I don't want to. That's some stinky money.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
But yeah. No, if it's green in our yard, it's cut and it looks like good. It's a grass. It's nice. Oh,
Buzz.
yeah.
Hey, turn that phone off.
I don't know who that is.
Silent.
Don't you know
It
you're
is
in the
on
middle of a
silent, I
podcast?
You know
But
what?
you know Wyatt mows now. We got him
Yeah.
that zero turn now. He just, there you go, Wyatt.
As we're sitting here talking about more land and yardage, one of the things this week, because we had revival, and God kind of spoke to me. He's like, sometimes you have to give up your dreams to follow what I want you to do.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, maybe I don't need the 40 acres to go do what you want me to do.
Right? Yep.
Maybe I do need just a subdivision, even though I can't stand people.
I'm overlooking now about wanting all this land. I just want to go sit on his porch and see that.
Yeah,
sunrise
now that he's got it, I'm okay.
every once in a while I see those pictures and I'm like,
that's what I told Lisa.
give up everything.
She was like, one day I'm going to come home and you're just going to be on the front porch drinking sweet tea. I said, you're right, I am. And you can just say, it's all right, it's Daniel, and just keep on going.
I've had several this week tell me that too.
Because I mean, but that view from your
pretty.
porch is great.
But I think you're right, Daniel, because some of us do that. We need to be thankful for what we have.
Yeah.
and we just make the best of it. We all want more.
Yeah.
It's in our nature. Even me, I have the horses and a little bit of land, and, I'm lucky enough that the neighbors let me use a lot of their land. And, I always want more. You see the 40 acres, or you see all this land, and you're like, why not? But sometimes I got to look back to him. I can barely even keep up with what I have.
Right.
How, God's not, like, why are you going to give me more? Maybe I don't want more, but,
Right.
But you're right. Because, if you had more land and you had more work and you're always taking care of your land, that might take away from what God wants you to do.
Yeah. Yeah. I think so. The more that I sit and think about it, if I had as much land as what I really wanted, the work to do here at the church would be a lot less for me serving him here.
Yeah. And Jed has the perfect point. He says this all the time. It is God's perfect plan.
Yeah.
Right. It's not, it's not, it is perfect, but we might not see that. Right? Because we're at a certain spot in our lives at a certain time, at a certain place, and it's only because of God's perfect plan. And that's why we're there. And we have to sit down and think of, I always want more, I want this, and I want that. Well, sometimes we just need to water our grass and make it a little bit more greener.
Exactly.
Take care of our own
Fertilize
grass.
it.
Right. But I can't afford the fertilizer.
Kill the weeds, fertilize it, water it.
Yeah, have you seen
Greener, you'll get greener grass on your side.
Right.
And you got to remember, God's plan is a battle plan, because this is a spiritual war we're
And
fighting
that's the
right
thing.
now.
Yeah,
so he can't give you the bullet point list by list, because no general could do that, right? He is the Lord of hosts.
Yes.
Right? There's a reason they call him that. And so that is like the one thing you have to just accept, is the fact that you're not going to get to know the why. Because if you knew the why, then the enemy would know the why.
Yep.
And then it would that never goes well. So
And then it doesn't go to a perfect plan.
yeah.
Right. And if we know the reason why, too, we might back out.
And
Yeah.
yes, 100%.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Oh, this is why this is going to happen. We're like, no,
Nope,
I'm
I'm
going to
out.
do this.
See you.
Yeah.
That don't benefit me.
Right. Exactly.
But like, as I sit there, I'm like, okay, how much have I been so focused on having all that acreage and the horses and the farm and all that back that I wanted, that I had, and how many people did I miss?
Right.
Because that's where my focus was.
Right.
And that's where I'm like, holy smokes, like that, like there's all that I have missed, because that's where I've been seeking and focusing on.
Oh, wait. I got another verse. Hang on. Hey, I got some stuff now, boys.
But that's where, because that's where I think, the more we talk about it too. And even as I sat out there last Thursday, and I was like, man, this would be such a great view. I love this view. But then I was like, God's got me where he wants me for that specific reason.
Ready? You ready for this one, boys? This came to me today.
Let's do it.
So this was in Psalms 33, verse 20 through 21. And it says, we wait and hope for the Lord. He is our help and our shield. In him our heart rejoices, for we trust in his holy name.
Yeah.
Right? And their little description underneath that, they have the little sayings. And it's awesome. It says, don't compare yourself to others. There's no comparison between the sun and the moon. You shine when it's your time.
That's right.
Right? So sometimes we put ourselves into that, and we want to, well, that person has this and that person has that. We want that. We want, we try to compare ourselves.
Yeah.
There's that coveting all of a sudden sneaking right in.
Right.
Yeah.
And God has us where he wants us. And so we have to embrace that and say, God, like Jed does, right? Whatever your plan is, I'm here.
Hillary had that
to
exact
say.
same saying
Yeah.
on her phone when they had me put that into the slideshow. The one you just said.
Really?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
Wow. And that was sent to me today.
And that was on Hillary's phone.
Yep. So then,
Yep. Sent it to him last night. I was
Really?
going through her phone and getting things.
That was sent to me at 3:35. It's amazing how God works.
Oh,
It really
absolutely.
is.
Absolutely.
I mean, he just works, and it's just wonderful in how he works.
yeah.
And we don't know how he works, or why he works like this.
And I'm kind of glad that we don't.
I'm glad that we don't too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's in a way that it just amazes me every single day on how he works.
No.
And we have to sit back and watch him work. Because if we don't sit back and take the time for that, we're going to miss it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because we're too busy focused on what we want.
Yeah.
What we want to do.
Mm-hmm.
Not what he wants to do.
Yep.
I think of it like this. The moon does not generate its own light. Do you know this? The moon doesn't generate its own light. The moon reflects the light of the sun, and that's what we see. And so we are the moon, right? Because we're to reflect God's light.
Did I send you that one, Ray?
Mm-hmm.
Because she had it too.
Did she?
Really?
Yep. Share that one
Yes,
too.
she did.
Oh, wow.
I'm just gonna go. Yep.
Wise
ask you-
young lady.
Do you know that?
She was. She really was.
Ray's all acting smart. You asked him if he knew that, and he's like,
Oh, yeah, I did. I did only because it was on Hillary's phone. That's why.
Yep. I still knew it.
Yeah.
But
That's awesome.
Well, here's another one I screenshotted. I don't know, but I want to read it. It's Joshua 1:9. Haven't I commanded you, be strong and courageous? Do not be afraid or discouraged, for the Lord your God is with you wherever you go.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of sinks in. But Hillary had better ones.
She did though.
It almost puts in perspective is why do we fear everything today when that verse right there should instill strength in us,
Yeah.
Yeah,
courage.
Yeah. We have nothing to fear,
Well, should-
nothing.
No, nothing.
which is easy to say.
Yeah, it's very easy to
That's
say.
it. That's all of us
I
tonight,
don't
you know.
like snakes. I'm afraid
That's
of
like-
them.
Right. I still don't like going into the garage at 2 a.m. when it's dark and I'm like, "Whoop, turn on the light. Who's out here?
Well, that's like,
I tell Wyatt that too when he's afraid to go feed the dogs, you know. And I says, make the dark afraid of you.
yeah. Well,
Right.
that's the
Right.
thing, though, is we
So
talk
I've always
about
got my piece with me. When I go.
live by faith, live by faith. That's easy to say, hard to do. Jed, though,
You're doing it, brother.
he's shown it to where you can do it.
It's proven it right now.
It can be done.
Yeah.
It's not a path I wish any of you'd have to even think about going down.
But we're here with you.
Yep.
And I appreciate it because otherwise I couldn't.
It'd be terrible to go through it by yourself.
Yeah.
Right. Could you, I mean, I was lost, and the amount of uncertainty and confusion and hopelessness that you wonder why the lost world is full of drugs and alcohol. Because without that, you're confronted with the fact that there is nothing. There is no hope. There is no relief. There is no plan, right? It's just random stuff that happens for absolutely no reason. And that gives you nothing. That leaves you empty.
It leaves you empty. Yep.
Yeah. You've got nothing.
There's no answers at the bottom of the bottle. And I could tell you that for sure.
I've looked a few times.
Me too.
But the peace that you can find with Christ, with the Lord, is something that is almost impossible to truly describe, right?
Yeah, you can't.
Yeah, it's spelled out multiple times in the Bible, and even then, I didn't understand it fully, and I still don't now. I'm sure I probably won't until going through even harder trials. But everything that we've had to go through, no matter how difficult it is or how bleak it seems, I've had the peace of the Lord with me. And so that's a blessing. That is a very, very
And it's
deep
amazing
blessing.
how the drugs and alcohol have a fade out, a come down. And the only chance that you have a come down on this is by your choice of leaving God. So,
Right.
I mean, God gives you that high that you don't ever want to leave. But it's just amazing. We grasp onto the worldly thing and just, well, the bottle's gone. I have to think about it for a second, long enough to go to the store and get me another one.
Mm-hmm.
But you look in here, you get prepped for it, you get worked into it, you know what you're going through because God's with you.
Mm-hmm.
Go for it. You got something to read, don't you?
I've got a quote. I've got the quote.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
A satisfied life is better than a satisfied life is better than a successful life because our success is measured by others, but our satisfaction is measured by our own soul, mind, and heart.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
More focus on that lower end of that, huh? Or our mind and heart than it is on just us.
Yes.
Yeah, because there's
deep.
people that judge you on your success,
They do.
right? Because this person does this, and he's not even here yet, so he's a nobody, or he hasn't done that. And I don't care. You know what I mean? I don't care what
People don't realize you all start at the same spot.
So,
And we all
where
end up in the same spot too.
Where you go from there is not by your hard work, by it's.
Doesn't that go back to the thing you sent out to us today?
Uh-oh, what happened?
Didn't you send us a little video with the kid preaching?
Oh,
yeah.
that was a good one.
And
Yeah,
that
that was
is
a good
exactly
one.
what you're just trying to say is what he said.
Yep.
We all start out even. It doesn't matter how we start. Our families keep our history, but our mentors will
Guide our future.
guide our future.
Uh-huh.
Yep.
I'm glad you brought that up because I forgot all about it. It's been a long day.
Oh, this has been a short one so far for me.
That was a good video.
That
It
was.
was.
That was.
That was during
Sorry for
lunchtime.
no response, but here it is.
Oh, no. I don't expect response because I don't know if we all do that anyway. We all send it to each other and we all look at it and move on. I mean,
Right.
unless it's just awesome, like, but no, I've been bringing hamburgers to lunch. So I air fry them. It's like 30 minutes for hamburgers. So I'll sit there and watch a video or two. And I seen that. And I was like, man, that kid's got to be what, 12,
I'd say
13?
12, 13.
And he had more powerful words than I could ever think of before.
He was. Yeah. Yeah.
So
And he meant them too.
Oh,
Right.
The way he was saying them, he meant them.
I thought he was already a preacher.
I bet.
20 years into it already.
I bet he didn't have any seminary experience.
Oh,
Yeah.
no.
That's weird.
You can tell by the way I stumble around of everything I say. I'm not a speaker. But that kid right there had it going.
Yeah.
It's amazing who and what God works through.
Power of the Spirit.
Yeah.
Yep. I'll include a link to that in the description for anybody listening if you want to watch that video.
No, that'd be good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So they can know what we're rambling on
Right.
about.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
I'm sure glad you know how to do that.
Yep. That's why you guys
'Cause I
keep
would
me
just
around.
hold my phone up here and say, just listen. Just listen to this. Just take my word for it. It's like a 12-year-old kid.
Yeah. And we all got those. We all got spiritual gifts. We all do.
We do.
You know, even with Wyatt struggling this week too as well. We've had some talks with him, and I says, God has given you a gift. You know, and you need to use it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he came to me, and yeah, he's hurting. And one night he come down and says, "Dad, I'm an introvert now." And I said, "Buddy, no, you're not." I says, "You're not." I says, I told this to Jed too. I said, I never heard that word until I moved to Arkansas. So I'm like, you're not that. Trust me, because, you know, we've heard that a lot. You know, I'm an introvert. Okay, great. But I told White, I says, you're not. And I said, God has given you a gift. I says, you know, one of those gifts is love. Mm-hmm. And I says, you love people. You love being around people. And, you know, I says, you doing that is not showing God's gift. I mean, use it. So, you know, he's had some tough times, and I know you've talked to him, I've talked to him, and He'll get through it. He will.
He's a group project right now.
He is a group
And we'll
project.
We'll get him through it.
Yeah, he'll get through it. And so it's just we all have a gift.
Yeah.
We all do. We just need to use it. And then it's not to glorify us at all.
No.
Like you say, Jed, it's to glorify him. Everything that he does, everything that he gives us is to glorify him.
I tell the kids all the time. I was like, I got called out on it Sunday at the business meeting, but I always tell my kids, whatever you do it loud and proud.
Mm-hmm.
If that's love, do it loud and proud.
You're right.
If that's preaching, do it loud and proud. And of course, like I said in the business meeting, I thought I was yelling, and everybody's like, "Huh?" I was like, "My ears must be gone."
I heard loud and clear. I think some folks didn't want to hear it loud and clear.
That was it.
So,
That was
but
it.
anyway,
They didn't want-
of course, they had a chuckle out of it. Oh yeah, loud and proud. We'll see how you are. And I was like,
People,
yeah. But anyway, yeah. Whatever you do it loud and proud.
hey, don't get me on that right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I mean, if anything says anything today, that faith is loud and proud with you, brother.
It sure is.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't say today. I mean, for the last few weeks. I mean, I know it hadn't been that long, but I'm saying loud and proud is what we heard from you.
But it's been like that for you, Jed, for a while.
Yeah.
I mean, as long as I've known you two, we've had a lot of discussions. We've had a lot of sit-downs. And you tell me the same thing over and over and over again.
Yep,
God has a perfect plan. God has the plan.
he does.
And I don't think until you get to that point to know that, I don't think you understand.
No, yeah, you're right.
Because, I mean, you could sit there and say it all day, but until you believe it.
That's, It's not just that Jed says it, though. It's his actions.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to walk the walk, not just talk the talk, man. Like, if he says that, then he's going to live it that way.
Yeah.
Oh, Jed's smooth, man.
I
He
mean,
can do it.
I mean, I've learned a lot from you, too, and it's just, we're two different personalities.
He's good company to keep around.
Yeah. Yeah, and we're just two different personalities, and I'm about, oh, yeah, let's blah, 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 blah. You're like,
Go.
wait. No, it's okay. It's okay.
Patience, young grasshopper.
Yeah. Yep.
It's kind of like Derek. He's always got these big dreams, and he's going 100 miles an hour straight to him. Derek, step by step.
Step by step. Mm-hmm. You're right.
You can keep that big dream out there, but don't just look at it because you're not going to get there any faster. You'll get there faster step by step.
You're right. You're right. You tell me that all the time.
And that's what I've told people. Everybody asks how I'm doing. It's step by step.
Step by step.
Not day by day. It's step by step.
Yep.
And we'll make it day by day.
It's terrible. We're used to having yelling motivation, but we have to slow down with Jed. But it's motivation, soft motivation, but truth. God, I don't know about that, Jed. we've lived this long, getting yelled at. I don't know what the problem is.
Right.
And that's one thing I've always kind of been with my kids. I don't scream and motivate. Don't say, you're doing this. I always ask, and there's a way to proceed. And I don't know. I'm one that I don't speak unless it's thought out and it's something that is true and something that needs to be said.
I want to hear your motivation in auctioneer talk. Ooh.
Yep. Yeah.
It's Derek.
Couldn't get him, boys. We couldn't get him.
I know it can't.
We'll keep trying one of
We
these
will.
days.
Hey, you know what I'll do? Is on Monday on the auction, I'll record it.
There you go.
Then you can
we
tag
just
it
play
into
it. Yeah. We'll just play it.
So I said, one day I'm going to slip it in there, and he's going to slip, and he's going to do it. But it's not today.
Not today.
That'll be our intro.
I didn't think that was what you was aiming for. I thought you just wanted to know what my motivation was.
Exactly. That's why I slipped it in there. I was like, can you motivate us? Talk fast enough? We all have gifts if we want to see yours. Sorry, I just misspoke. We want to hear yours.
Is that a gift or a talent?
We just said to use our gifts, right? Oh, man.
Well, I'll tell you, the night we came over, what was it, Sunday evening, or was it Monday? I don't remember.
My days have run together.
I didn't even know your friend. I told him, man, on the way home, that was sure a blessing. And I hate using get your mind off the situation for a minute, but just kind of just having a good laugh and just normal, like you kept telling us, normal. I said, man, that just hearing his stories and of course how he talks too. I was like, man, I think that was just kind of a relief a little bit for you, because I just seen you open up and just kind of smile and be yourself again for a second. And I said that just to me as well, that's motivation for me, because I know there is light at the end of the tunnel.
Oh yeah, there's light.
Yep. So you need him on podcast.
Was that the same guy that was out there Thursday?
No.
I don't
No.
remember.
No, Nick was out there on Thursday.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Nick was there on Thursday.
No.
Nick.
Nick.
Our
Nick.
good
Nick.
friend. Nick.
Yep.
Yeah, he was out there.
Cool.
Shout out to Nick Landon.
Yes.
We talked about trucks and,
Yeah.
Poking fun at Lisa. That was.
Oh,
Yeah, he does.
squeaky.
He does.
Squeaky, isn't it?
Yep, squeaky.
Attaboy, Nick. No, this one here, what'd you call him?
John?
John.
He was
Kind
my college roommate my second year.
of light sling blade-ish, but country, real country. I liked it.
More laid back than I am.
Oh,
Yeah, because we were talking about it last night. I said, was it the guy like on Duck Dynasty? Where the guy that really talks really slow?
Mountain Man.
Mountain Man.
Mountain Man.
Maybe faster than him, but I see
Oh,
where
okay.
you're going.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just kind of
You're
that
on
real.
the right path.
Yeah,
On the right
Yeah.
path, yeah.
You didn't
Just
meet
kind
him
of
yet?
that laid back.
Oh, you
and-
need to. Oh, he's an amazing fella. I didn't have to say a word when he's laughing. Oh, I love it. I'm not funny at all, but I'm just saying that, dude.
And Cheryl was there, and she was
just
sitting on that stool back there in the
belly
corner.
laughing.
And thank goodness she was in the corner, because I think she would have fell off.
Yeah.
She could have bounced off each wall.
Oh, we all were just having a good time. I mean, his stories. And like I said, 95% was the way he said it. The stories were funny, but I mean, he just had to been there. Woo. Country fellers, I like him. Pulled up a nice truck too, didn't
Yeah, it did.
he? Yeah.
Derek wouldn't have approved, but
It was the right kind
It
of
was a farm
truck.
truck though. Yeah.
it was a farm
Had a
truck.
flatbed on it.
Yep.
Yeah. Huh?
GMC.
It's Chevy.
Oh, Chevy.
Yeah.
Well, boys, we all make mistakes in life. We just learn from them.
Well, I'm glad you're finally admitting it.
No, I learned from mine. That's why.
You are in the minority, though. So, is there just more of us with problems?
Speaking of that, buddy,
be.
I was supposed to send that to you, but I forgot.
Mm-hmm.
I hate when that makes it run slower. Should have the oval on it too. You said it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. It's always.
Always.
Always something.
Yeah. They'd be crying when all their electric trucks,
Yeah, right.
I need to be put in the ground by that time.
Yeah, that's so true. That's funny.
Oh,
Well, Jed, you got anything else you want to add, or?
I don't think so right now. We may carry on to something else, a little here or there, but I think that's pretty well covers our bases.
Mm-hmm.
Keep your core, keep your faith, keep it simple. Follow the first two deals we talked about. Love the Lord, and then love your neighbors like your Lord. I think that sends a really good message right there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
If him being with me can get me through this, he can get us all through anything. So
Yeah. Absolutely.
Well, thank you for coming.
Yes,
thank you
thank
for
you, Jed.
sharing, and
Yeah.
thank you for doing this tonight, because,
and I'm gonna say something that I told you I wouldn't do anymore because of him, but I'm gonna speak for all of us. But I'm sure we're all sorry for the loss of your daughter, and we appreciate the standards you and the guidance you got for us, and basically keeping the faith and making us accountable for that as well.
If I ever am in any situation like that, I'll be praying for the faith like Jedi the Jedi.
Well, I appreciate all you guys being in Hillary's life and taking a part of it, leading, guiding her in some direction, good or bad, because it all turned out for the good for her. So I do appreciate you guys.
Yeah.
Well, it makes it be an honor to be a panda bear.
Yeah.
And I still don't understand the turkey, but hey, I'll take that too.
Did she ever do the snail to you?
She did the snow with me quite a bit.
I don't think so.
I come up with something to solve the snail.
Yeah?
Yeah, when she do snail, if you do it fast enough, you go salt.
Oh.
It kills the snail.
Yeah, she would, yeah. Because I would
Guys,
go to do the knuckles, and she'd
He
snail
lives
me
out
all
in the
the
middle of
time.
nowhere. Don't underestimate him. He's a smart feller.
I think I was I changed the way the middle school played that game.
Yeah. Yeah.
I could just picture her going to school going, nope, no more snail.
Yeah.
All right, do you want to close this in prayer?
Sure. Gladly, guys, gladly. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for being here with us. Thank you for coming down to give us strength. Thank you for providing your Holy Spirit to be with us every step of our day. And thank you for giving us Jed, someone who can show us a true example of what faith is, of what love of the Lord is, and what the love of all of his fellow Christians is. And we can only pray that we can show that same type of faith when we are put to the test. We know you provide us with the courage. We know you provide us with the strength. We just have to have faith in you. And we are so grateful for every challenge you put before us, for every blessing that you give us, and for every opportunity that you will give us to share those challenges and blessings with others. We love you so much. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Thank you for listening to Spiritual Debriefing, a podcast supported by First Baptist Church Hiwasse. Please like and subscribe to the podcast so you can be notified when we post new episodes, as well as check out our past episodes. We'll be posting new podcasts every other Thursday. You can follow us on social media, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. If you have questions you'd like us to answer, comments, or feedback on the podcast, please contact us through our social media or email us at dmeadows@fbchiwasse.com. Thank you, and we hope God blesses your day. Oh, shoot, it wasn't recording. No, I'm just kidding.
Run it back.
Start it over.
Next week.
Do over.